Almost 12:01. All right, I'm ready to call the meeting to order. Could we all please stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yes! We have now called this meeting to order. Today is October 9th. October 9th. Last Monday was my birthday. Yes. All right. At this time, I want to welcome to the lectern our Toastmaster of the day. It is his first time performing this role. We are so excited. Oh, he did it last week? Wait a minute. Let me backtrack. This is the first time I was not here. This is the first time I know of you. Welcome. Come on down, Dr. Jerome. Very good. Very good.
Thank you, Madam President, for your almost salubrious introduction. So it is with great pleasure, before I bring up our next speaker, I'd like to just say something real easy that I found during my salubrious weekend retreat. So there were these two quick itinerant ministers. One was encouraging the other to pray, and the other said, "Well, have you had any feedback or any progress?" He said, "Well, it's like this. It's like sitting on the railroad track. If you keep sitting at the railroad tracks, you'll get a hit." And so what's that got to do with Toastmasters? If you keep coming, you will get a hit. And on that salubrious note, I will bring up the grammarian.
Thank you. That is the last time I post my word of the day before I get up here to introduce it. The word of the day is salubrious. I often find this hard to read with my old eyes, so I thought I'd make a slide. It's an adjective that means favorable to or promoting one's health or well-being in something healthy or pleasant. Some examples in speech would be: the hot springs are popular not just for relaxation, but also for their reported salubrious effect. And then I wrote this sentence myself. A salubrious, brisk fall morning is a welcome break from the oppressively hot summer. And I am still waiting for that salubrious event. Lived here 7 years, and I still cannot believe it's this hot in October. It's not right, people. Climate change, just saying. Not trying to start anything. So your word for today is salubrious. Please try to use it in your speeches. Thank you, Toastmasters and Toastmaster Nagunde.
Thank you. I guess the challenge has been set. Each of us has to make a sentence or write a sentence with salubrious as a verb or as a noun, or you can make it an adjective. At this time, she's not here. Toastmaster minute.
Come on down.
Okay, thank you. All right. Good morning. Oh, afternoon, rather.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. For those of you who don't know, the highest honor a Toastmaster can receive is the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. In order to receive the Toastmaster Award, you must do several things. One is to first receive your CC. Second, you have to receive your CL. After that, you have to accomplish the ACB, the ACS, and the ACG. Am I doing that right? You also have to do the ACL, no, the ALB and the ALS. Once you receive the ALS, is that right? Yes. And the ACG, you're then qualified for the DTM. Once you become qualified for the DTM, you receive this nice plaque. Currently, we had, prior to last month, we had 3 distinguished Toastmasters. Myself, Adrian, Philip. Guess what? We now have a new DTM. Antoinette Mitchell, stand. I know our president is now a distinguished Toastmaster. So glorious presentation to and distinguished Toastmaster Antoinette Mitchell. Yay! Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How can you follow such a wonderful, salubrious Toastmaster minute? But I could assure you that I am not a distinguished Toastmaster. But you are about to see, hear, and feel one salubriously in the presence. No other than our first speaker. Get comfortable with visual aids. Yes. You coming from the competent communication man, or? Yes, it says get comfortable with visual aids, and it is Tobacco 21 and Arkansas. Tobacco 21 and Arkansas. No other than our distinguished Toastmaster, Mr. Philip Borden.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, guests, distinguished Toastmasters. I have, over the years, spoken about a very wide variety of topics on all kinds of things. I'm just thinking that working here in public health, being a student of public health next door at UAMS, it's about time that I go for a little more salubrious content. Yeah. So my speeches...
A little more salubrious content.
So bear with me as I will attempt to do that. I want to talk to you today about the Tobacco 21 movement and what it might mean for Arkansas. Tobacco 21. This past spring in the Legislative House session for the state of Arkansas, the House of Representatives at the state level introduced House Bill 1711. It was a bill to prohibit the sale of tobacco to anyone under 21 years old, with the exception of active duty military personnel. The bill was passed out of committee. It went before the full House floor. However, it fell short in that vote by a vote, as you can see, of 41 to 30. Do a little quick math, and you can see that 29 of your duly elected representatives did not vote on this particular controversial matter. That means the bill did not pass this time, but we'll learn more about Tobacco 21 and what it might mean for the future. While we are dealing with these kinds of issues, tobacco continues to be a very major health problem and economic problem in the United States. Tobacco is responsible for killing about 480,000 people in the United States every year. Costs estimate from between $289 billion to $333 billion annually. That includes healthcare costs, time missed from work, everything that can be traced back to tobacco. We know that exposure to secondhand smoke has killed 2.5 million non-smokers since 1964. We are learning more about how addictive nicotine is and the science of understanding that. At the same time, the number of new smokers is continuing to grow, even with all that we know about the dangers of tobacco. How is Arkansas doing relative to the other 49 states? Excuse me, this is a rather unflattering graphic that's actually from data from 2015. It shows Arkansas as one of only 3 states with a tobacco prevalence of 23.7 or higher. That's adult tobacco smoking rate. The other 2 states in that group are Kentucky and West Virginia. Why would the states of Kentucky and West Virginia have high smoking prevalence? They grow tobacco. They are tobacco producing states. Arkansas doesn't even have that excuse. We are in a very small group that we don't want to be in, and we have no excuse for being there. Now, you can go and find the 2016 version of this chart. It looks a little bit better because they altered the ranges there over on the right. As a result of that, Arkansas is one of 8 states in the largest group. However, or the highest prevalence group, but this graphic, I think, tells an even more powerful story. Who are the people who have a stake in this issue, really on both sides? Well, obviously, tobacco producers and retailers, they want to keep that income coming. They'll talk to us about the free market. Everyone has their individual choice whether to smoke or not. There's immediate tax revenues that come in for the sale of tobacco. On the public health side, people in public health, in health care, in the healthcare industry, people who are watching those Medicaid dollars and how they're being spent, they want to have improved health and cost savings in the long run. That comes through prevention and avoiding the far greater costs that can come long term if too many people are continuing to smoke. What has been done in the past? Well, different states have taxed aggressively to try to deter people from smoking. We've limited advertisement. We've set the minimum legal age to 18, and we've restricted where you can smoke. None of those have really had the effect that we are looking for. So I want to talk to you about the Tobacco 21 movement. Over 220 cities and states in the United States, including the entire state of California and Hawaii, have enacted Tobacco 21 legislation. That's raising the minimum age from 18 to 21. That includes Helena, West Helena, Arkansas, is one of those 220 communities. Retailers, well, first let me say that the impact of Tobacco 21 legislation would not kill the tobacco revenues overnight, because 18 to 20-year-old smokers are responsible for only slightly over 2% of cigarette consumption. The goal is not to curb sales in the short term, it's to gain control over the number of addicted adults who will remain addicted for the rest of their lives. There's the military argument. They will say that if you're old enough to take a bullet for your country, you're old enough to decide whether you want to smoke cigarettes or not. That doesn't change the fact that secondhand smoke is still dangerous. More and more military leaders are actually in support of Tobacco 21 because of the concern that they have for military readiness. Would Tobacco 21 work? Well, here are a couple of estimates that have been done by the Institute of Medicine. They forecast a 12% change in smoking prevalence over the next 3 to 4 years. University of California, Irvine found a similar result, 13% over the next few years. For the sake of time, we won't go into detail about this chart. However, it does show a distinct difference between the age group of 15 to 17 and 18 plus in terms of how they get their cigarettes. In conclusion, I believe that Arkansas can reverse its current pattern of falling short in tobacco control by enacting Tobacco 21 legislation, and the military concession is not really a solution, and I would support Arkansas State Legislature in 2019 to enact Tobacco 21 legislation without the military concession. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you again, distinguished Toastmaster Philip Borden. I told you. That was a salubrious speech. If I was a legislator, I would vote for it. Have you ever thought about starting your own business? Do you have any great ideas or hobbies that you'd like to start any morning with? Do you have a gift or talent that others recognize or admire in you? Maybe it's time to start making definite plans to start a business. Let us look at a few basic steps to help us start a viable business. No other than our own Ms. Camille, who will be presenting from Get to the Point, and the topic is how to start a business. Ms. Camille. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. This afternoon I'm going to be discussing how to start a business and some basic steps that we could use if one is interested in starting a business. As he's already expressed part of my introduction, but I'll say it again. Maybe you've thought about starting your own business. Maybe you have a hobby or an idea that you'd like to start earning money with. Or you have a special gift or talent that others recognize and admire you for. Then it may be time to start thinking about starting a business. And we're going to look at a few basic steps that would help one start a viable business. Any business starts with a good idea. So just like we may have done in school or at work, start out by brainstorming. Just take your best ideas, make a list, pros, cons. But if you start with your ideas and then narrow it down to something that you're passionate about, you're knowledgeable about, take a couple of your best ideas and then start doing quick research on companies, your industry, competitors, things like that, you may notice that you have come up with a really great business idea. Also study the competition and decide if you can do what they do better, faster, or even cheaper, because that may be a great business idea. Next, you'll need a business plan. And this includes several things. What's the purpose of your business? Why do you want to go into business? Who are you selling to? Who are your competitors? What are your startup costs going to be? There's really no way to start a business without spending some amount of money. How are you going to finance those costs? Are you going to have to receive funding? Do you have personal savings? Will you ask friends and families for money? So those are all things that you think about. And then what are your end goals? Are you looking to make this your primary employment? Is this going to be a side business? Those are all the things you think about when you're developing your business plan. Any business has to start with a good basis, so we all have to be regulated by the government. if you want to have not just a hustle, but you want a business. So you need to check. You'll have to check with the local and state authorities on that. Okay, so you must register your business with the government, the IRS. Once you decide what type of business you're in, you'll get your tax ID. You'll go to the state and the city and get all your licenses and registration done. And then if you have any questions, you can always ask other people that are in business, as well as check out the Small Business Administration's website. The next thing to do is, once you've established your business on paper and got all these regulations, you've got to get out there and let people know that you are in business. So you'll have to advertise. You'll build your brand and advertise. You can create a logo. You can also use social media. Facebook is now a really good way. Instagram is a great way to get your business out there and not really spend a lot of money until you are able to do actual real promo and advertising. Those are really good ways to get your business out there. And then whatever you use, business cards, social media, make sure everything's up to date. So if your phone number changes, your addresses changes, the way that you need to be contacted changes, you'll need to make sure that all your branding has that on there. And then lastly, think about growth for your business. Do you want to expand your business at some point? Most people don't want to have their business the way that they started 5 years from now. So you plan for growth. You get with other business owners, you network, you talk to people, and you find out what's the latest in your industry, what you can do to grow. And then also you have to volunteer a little bit and just put yourself out there so that you can get your name out there. When you're a new startup, you're going to have to give away some things, some time, some services. But if your business is good and your customer service is good, that will come back to you later. So in conclusion, in order to start a business, I would say start by picking a great idea, researching it, and find out how much money you can make with that idea. Legally establish the business, create a great logo and brand, advertise, and plan for growth and expansion. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but enjoy the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Camille. Thank you. Our next speaker needs no further introduction. At this time, I'll bring up our distinguished Toastmaster, Adrian Duncan.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. This is one day of your life that is salubrious. Why is it? I found something last week that I had not noticed before. I noticed that your feet has something to do with your progress. Does anyone have sleepy feet? Think about it for a minute. I noticed the other day I was watching a couple of people and their feet was... And I was like, what was that? They had been sitting there for a week or two, a month or two. We did some studies, and one person hadn't done anything in 2 years. Did you hear me? Are your feet snoring? Not anything, had not done anything in 2 years. Is that salubrious? I doubt it. What I found out was, if you don't plan, what do? You fail, because the opening of a DTM is what? Your first speech. I studied about alcoholism, drug addicts. I studied some other situations that's detrimental to your health. However, I had a drug problem when I was a youngster. Does anybody know why? Because my mom and dad said you're going to church, and we were drugged to church 3, 4 times. Whenever there was an open door, guess who was drugged every time? Do you think we had sleepy feet? Do y'all, any of you believe our 11 children, my brothers and sisters, you believe any of us had sleepy feet? No such luck. What time when we were up of a morning ready to go to do something? 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, loading up hogs and cows and sheep, ready for market. Anyone wonder why we had them ready for market? That's the way you paid for your food, your sugar, your clothing, your socks. And it kept you from having sleepy feet. That's why none of us are overweight, and none of us are out of sorts, and all of us were focused to do something out of the ordinary. Started with a DTM. My dad said, don't time me, let's get up at 2 and 2:30 and go fishing. Guess who was out of bed first? That was me. Because I did not have sleepy feet. I'm finding when y'all are not making progress with your CC or your CL or your ACB or one of those others I noticed that most of you are dragging your feet. So are y'all drugged on a daily basis? Are you truly being drugged? Or are you salubrious? I can't tell. I know that I'm watching individuals that has become DTMs. Anybody notice how Toastmaster Mitchell has done? Give her a big hand. She's a DTM because her feet were not sleepy feet. Did y'all notice? Have y'all noticed she doesn't have sleepy feet? Look around at the other Toastmasters that have paid their dues, or someone has paid their dues. Look around and walk up to them and say, oh, I noticed you have sleepy feet. And give them a snorer. And see what reaction you get. I guarantee you'll get a different, well, maybe a salubrious reaction. Hopefully. Because I'm finding, I watch people in the arena that I'm in, they'll say, well, my progress was not successful. My job did not allow me for a promotion. My person stood in front of me. The other person stood beside me and didn't help me and didn't encourage me. I looked around and I noticed they hadn't changed their shoes in years. What do I mean by that? That means they put one foot in front of the other. And that's all they did. Most of us have to do that if we get up and go to the table to eat, or if we get out and go to a movie, or if we get out and go to a concert. Watch how excited people are. They don't have sleepy feet when they go to a concert, do they? Look around. When they go to a football game or a concert, I do not see those folks with sleepy feet. They can do almost anything. They will come up with $100, $200, $500. If it's necessary for 2 or 4 or 6 of them to go to a special event, how much money can they come up with? Any amount necessary. And I'll guarantee you, their feet are not sleepy. They're not. I guarantee it. I asked a person, and it's not been a month ago, well, how did you go to that concert? I noticed you just borrowed $40. I just noticed you borrowed $40. Thank you. How did you go to that concert? That concert cost $80 a ticket. And drove all the way at least 50, 75, 80, or close to 100 miles. And more than that in a round trip. And took 2 other people. And I'm thinking, how interesting. What I'm asking you is, watch the person around you. Don't let that person allow you to have you in a mode of sleepy feet. I'll bet you my life's salary that none of you have heard this sermon before, the sleepy feet. And I'll bet you, if you'll use it carefully, you can catch people and walk up to them and say, I noticed you have sleepy feet. Mr. Toastmaster, did that work?
It works so rigorously. It worked, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, this is one of my favorites. Welcome to Table Topics. Our DTM, Miss Joyce Biddle. Yes. Thank you,
Good
distinguished Toastmaster.
afternoon, Toastmasters. I'm going to do something different this afternoon. I have some cards in my hand with the table topics on it. And I'm going to call your name and you're going to pull a card and you're going to read this and do your table topics. First on the rostrum will be Toastmaster Charlie.
Check your feet. Does he have 50 feet?
All right. Pick a card.
Pick a card, any card. Table talk. Got a picture of Superman on the front. In 1938, Action Comics introduced Superman. No wonder there's a Superman on the front. The first superhero. He had X-ray vision, superhuman strength, and ability to fly. Superman number 75, the comic book issue in which the villain Doomsday kills Superman, has sold more than 6 million copies since its 1992 publication. If you could be empowered with one superhuman ability, what ability would you choose and why? My superhuman ability would not having sleepy feet. Every time my feet start to tingle, it'll automatically trigger my brain to get up and go. Have you ever that's right. You do have sleepy feet. And sometimes in life, you just kind of start coasting or going through the motions in life. Next thing you know, you look up and weeks, months have passed by. There was a period in my time where my business started to take over my family initiative. The next thing I knew, a whole summer had passed, and I don't know how fast my boys grew up during that time, but it seemed like they became strangers. And that's part of being in the business. You have to make sure that you are able to find work-life balance. And so if I had a superhuman power, my feet would have triggered and kind of kicked into place. And I would have been able to understand, all right, get up and find that work-life balance, give your boys and your family what they need. That would have been my superhuman power.
All right. Our next contestant is Shauna. Pick a card, any card.
All right, super good.
Although he died more than 30 years ago, rock and roll king Elvis Presley still reigns. Auctions of his memorabilia have included his soap, pajamas, parking tickets, and American Express card. On average, there is one sighting of Elvis Presley every day. And about 4 calls come to Graceland daily asking to speak to him. Okay. If you could bring one famous person back to life, who would it be and why? Ooh, that was a good one. That's good. That is a very, very, very interesting question. If I could bring one famous person back to life, I think it would be Elvis Presley. It would be Elvis Presley. because he gets so many sightings daily that I would like to know, do you have a twin? Do you have a look-alike? Do you have someone that, is it you? Some people are very convincing. So I would like to know, does he have someone walking around that looks like him, or is it possibly him? Maybe he's just one of those mysteries. I would really like to meet him anyway. He just seemed like a really interesting person. He had an interesting life. I liked his music. I liked his personality, his movies. And he's just someone I would really like to meet anyway. So if I had someone I would talk to, it would be Elvis Presley.
How much time we got? What time is it? 12:35. How much time we have for? No, how much time? What time?
Next session, and it is 12:36.
12:36.
She said the out of time technically.
Oh, we out of table talk?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's the last one.
Thank you for that
You're welcome.
innovative.
There's always next time.
I'd like to bring up our newly minted salubrious speaker, our own president, our general evaluator, Miss Antoinette DTM. Thank you.
I need to use this for you. I am going to introduce the people who will tell us all about our speeches. How well did we do when we spoke? I'm going to introduce for you the Antoinette Mitchell, DTM. Give me a hand. Yes. I am evaluating Philip Borden. Philip Borden brought us a speech about Tobacco 21 in Arkansas. What I really liked about this speech is that Toastmaster Borden laid out the foundation. We did not have to wonder, what is this about? Can I buy cigarettes for my 21-year-old? Who can buy cigarettes? He gave the background, which comes from the legislators, and how this all came about. He also talked about the certain states that were in 21 and why they were 21. He challenged the listeners to answer some questions. Why do you think Arkansas would be among those 3 states and we don't grow tobacco? The one other thing that I love the most about this speech, and that is Toastmaster Borden did something that we need to take note of. He came early and he got his presentation set up early. I like that. Not only did he do that, but he kept his focus on the information, but not too much, where he had to read line for line. He briefly discussed, summarized each PowerPoint slide. That was a plus in this speech, something for us to note and to continue doing Toastmaster Borden. The other information I have for you regarding your speech is that obviously you are kind of under the weather with the fall cold. With that in mind, I know that near the end, I could tell you were getting kind of weighing down. You did not keep that voice of enthusiasm, but we understand. You could have moved around just a little bit more should you have been in a healthier state. I want to put it like that. Should you not have been challenged to deal with the health challenge there. We always enjoy your speech, Philip. It is very good, very informational. You gave all the bullet points that we needed. All of the information was true and factual. Very good speech. Thank you very much for leading us as a DTM. The next evaluator for speaker number 2 is going to be Toastmaster Makasa. I believe speech number 2, evaluator number 2, and then you go to page 2, and we have Toastmaster Leonard Makasa.
Thank you very much. President Mitchell, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Toastmaster Camille. How to start a business. This is a personal story. I started and failed a business. After your speech, I'm going to do it again. That's important to me. And your presentation. The opening was cheerful. I thought you were giving us money. You are going to give us money. Like we're going to play lottery today. And what you did was to put up a series of questions. Yes, think about starting a business. All along in the speech, you're saying, have you thought about this? Yes, I did. Think about a business all the way. I've not acted yet, but I did think about a business along the way. And the body was full of constructed steps. The brainstorm idea you talked about, I don't know who you brainstorm with. Maybe a consultant. The plan, the regulations, taxes. We've heard about taxes recently. You want to pay your taxes, right? Advertise, and the growth. That chart of growth was capturing my attention. The conclusion, you said, work hard to be okay and have fun doing it. Yes, I should. And what could I have improved, or what would I have liked to hear more from your speech? Can you tell me whether you've ever started a business and succeeded or not? Are you a business person? Okay, I want to know, maybe you have 2, 3 around you, or in your background, somebody who encouraged you to start a business. I look forward to more start business speeches. President Mitchell.
Evaluator number 3. Who's evaluator number 3? Thank you very much. As she comes down, give her a hand. Toastmaster Jana, who will evaluate DTM, Adrian Duncan.
Thank you, DTM Antoinette Mitchell. Adrian, what can you say? Always colorful, always full of humor and some self-deprecation. I wondered at first, what does he do with his day that he's seeing people that haven't moved in 2 years? Maybe he's the man that goes over and pokes people with a stick or something. I don't know. But I love that as a metaphor for... Forgot my notes, sorry. I love that he used the metaphor sleepy feet for inaction. And that if we don't go somewhere, it's more than just putting one foot in front of the other. We have to have a goal in mind. We have to have a destination rather than wandering aimlessly through life. I thought that was a great framework to build this speech around. I also really was struck by the "have you changed your shoes lately?" as a metaphor for changing your behaviors. I am personally wearing shoes that I've worn for a very long time. I wear my shoes out. I get my money's worth. But you have to think about in your life, are you just going down the same road? I think especially here at the health department, we all know people who have been here for decades. And now I'm not speaking of you, Dr. Mukasa, but people who get to a point in their careers where they're just showing up and they're just waiting for retirement. No, not you, Dr. Mukasa. No, never you. I would never imply that. Although the soles of your shoes do look pretty new. I thought Adrian did a great job with this speech today. It was easy to follow, well planned out, entertaining, humorous, and had some really effective metaphors in it. Thank you for letting me evaluate your speech, Adrian.
And while she's still here, we need to have the grammarian report that is going to be done by Toastmaster Jana.
Salubrious was our word of the day. It was used over a dozen times. I think our winner is our Toastmaster for today, Dr. Ngunda, with a close second going to Adrian. The only reason I didn't count some of Adrian's was he wasn't actually at the podium. But yes, Antoinette used it, Philip used it. If you also used it and I didn't catch it, good job. I like to pick words that are hard to pronounce, but maybe you'll walk away with using it in the future. Philip, I'm sorry to hear that you're not well, but soup has some wonderfully salubrious effects. Makes you feel warm and comfortable. And maybe you should have that for lunch after this. Otherwise, I didn't catch any obvious mistakes in language or usage. Some good metaphors. I like Camille used hustle for maybe a business that isn't quite on the books. And then I loved in her slideshow presentation grouping new media as digital assets. I like that. That may be old hat, but that was really a neat concept. Thank you.
The R Counter report is coming from Toastmaster Leonard Mukasa. How many? See if we do.
Can I use salubrious now? The buck stops here. I had problems with catchwords. I felt it coming out in my mind, spinning, and I didn't like it, but I used it. It's hard to fight these things. A few from Toastmaster Jerome and my own speaker, Camille. Jana is a storyteller, but again, these are things we fight hard to confront every day. We are working on it. President Antoinette, that's my report. Work in progress.
Work in progress. Timers report from Brittany Lee. Come on down, Toastmaster Lee. We're looking forward to your timers report.
Good afternoon. I will be delivering the timers report today. We started on time at 12 o'clock p.m. Our Toastmaster, our grammarian for the day, Jonna Jacobs, her speech was 1 minute and 30 seconds. The Toastmaster Minute by Joyce Biddle was 1 minute and 55 seconds. The first speaker, Philip Borden, your speech was 7 minutes and 56 seconds. Speaker number 2, Camille Hairston, your speech was 5 minutes and 35 seconds. Adrian Duncan, your speech was 5 minutes and 58 seconds. Table topics, Charlie, your speech was 1 minute and 22 seconds. Shauna, your speech was 1 minute and 15 seconds. General evaluator, which rolled into the Evaluator report, that was a little tricky. I got 20 seconds for general evaluator, but your evaluation speech was 2 minutes and 18 seconds for Antoinette Mitchell. Evaluator number 2, Leonard Mukasa, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Evaluator number 3, Jonna Jacobs, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Grammarian report by Jonna Jacobs, 1 minute and 33 seconds. And the odd counter report by Leonard Mukasa was 52 seconds. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Fantastic. Good job. Good job. What can we say about this salubrious meeting today? I see we have someone who's come again. She was introduced before as a guest. Do you have anything to say today regarding the meeting? Give us your name. Very good. Thank you so much for coming. Check with any one of us as the officers if you need any questions answered for you to continue your journey, as we're looking forward to you to become a Toastmaster. Today, we have 8 minutes left. What else would we need to talk about?
I have a presentation.
Oh, good.
All right, presentation.
Last year, distinguished Toastmaster, who's her name?
Mary McClendon.
Mary McClendon
district
offered
director.
everybody that turned in their dues by the deadline of March 31st
Spring.
to be to receive what is known as, what are they called? Elite Member Awards. We had several members to do that, and we finally got our Elite Member medals. And I've been trying to give these out, but we kept leaving the room before I could get them done. So, those members, somebody didn't. The members that received the Elite Member Awards, if you're here, when I call your name, come forward. Charlie Simpson.
Come on down, Charlie.
You paid your dues
On time. That's what we need.
Jonna Jacobs.
Jonna paid her dues on time. Excellent, excellent incentive.
Thank you. Leonard Mukasa.
Toastmaster Mukasa.
Salubrious effect. Thank you very much.
Antoinette Mitchell.
Ooh, yes. Another one, great.
Brandy Roberts. She's not here. Joyce Biddle.
Joyce Biddle, yes, there she's there.
She's not here.
Oh, this is cool.
And then we have Scott Gann, Aaron Padua Evans, and Kavya Pitapati, but these 3 members are no longer here with us because they have transferred out of the agency, but I still have their medals, which I'm going.
I get Toastmaster Gann to him because my niece works with him at the Southeastern College.
Okay. And Adrian Duncan was also on this list, but Adrian already has his medal because Toastmaster McClendon told me she already gave you yours. Okay. And then I'm going to get in touch with Aaron and Kavya and have them mailed to them.
Okay.
Okay. So that's everybody that paid their dues for last year. by March 31st. and pay-
We want to see a repeat of the same action this year. We want to see the repeat, paid on time.
Now, I do want to make an announcement. At the current time, we have 15 paid members. We have 2 unpaid members. We have 1 member that we need to verify because she was an agency member that was not participating. We need to see what she's going to do because I did not have the agency pay her due because she was not participating. Then we have 3 other members, the 3 that I just mentioned, who left the agency, so their dues was not paid. And then we have 1 agency member who told us she was not going to be able to participate again. So we have 7 members who did not renew, who have not been renewed, okay, in total. Okay?
Got
All
it.
right. The other announcement is the district conference is coming up. And Leonard has mentioned to me he would like to do the club
Education.
thing of at least 10 members that paid $100 and go. If there are any other members that want to do that and go to the conference in Fayetteville, let me know and we can send that in. And the conference is
10th and 11th
the 10th
of
and 11th
November.
of November. So if you're interested in doing that, let me know, and let me know in the next week or so we can take care of that.
So next Monday, we should have a count of who would be going.
Yes. I'm going to send an email out to all the members. So if anybody wants to do that, so we can send the money in. For anybody who's interested in doing the club registration. Club registration is $100. And it's 10 member maximum. Okay? And it only pays for the educational part. It doesn't pay for the It doesn't pay for the banquet.
Of the luncheons.
Okay? All right.
It is well worth your money. You will get all day long educational session. You will get to go to the business meeting as well. It will give you more information.
The business meeting is only for the president and VPE.
Oh, it is? Okay. President and VPE. Business, all right. And we need the proxy also. If the
president and VPE don't
go, then we need
send a
proxy. All right. Okay. Very good information for me to know. But I think
Because the president, you can carry 2 proxies. If the president goes and the VPE don't go, you can carry her proxy.
okay.
Because you already said you were going.
Yes, I paid. I'm going.
Okay.
But 10 people, that's very good.
On the proxy form,
Yes, it does.
in writing,
In writing. And signed off.
signed off by her. If
Yes.
she don't go.
Yes. So it is business.
But I'm just saying, if she didn't go. But I know you're going, because you already told me.
Right. Right. Okay. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters, that we really need to sign up as early as possible. We're still fighting for that goal to come through. It makes it so much easier on the VPE. If you know you're going to make a speech, if you need to make the next speech in your manual, start working on it now and see what you can do in a month's time by just thinking about, I'm going to write this, and then you start formatting it. Then you start practicing. Then you sign up. We always need roles to be fulfilled. All of these roles on that agenda, we need people to sign up. Don't be afraid. We will clap for you, and we will celebrate and help you. You see, we have a lot of help in this room. Anything else you would like to add to the meeting?
Don't forget about Saturday.
The contest is Saturday.
Oh, I will not have sleepy feet.
I know that you'll be here Saturday, but I'm competing Saturday, so I would like to.
Please help.
Please come out and help Joyce Biddle. And then you may give a little shout for me as well. We're in this. We're doing the same thing together. It is fun to be with people in table topics. But Joyce and I are in humorous speech contests. But we will also need some other folks to do the timing. No, they've got the timing already set. There are other duties that you can do if you come out. Please come out and support us.
Because we have
Judges.
We always need sergeant at arms.
Well, we need sergeant at arms.
Calvers, except
Where would this be?
St.
St.
Vincent,
Vincent.
right here close by.
Everybody, if you can, put it on your calendar. We would love to see you. Now it's 1 o'clock. It's time for us to end the meeting. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, everybody. See you all next Monday. Ready? Thank you.
Please sign the sign-up sheet in the back.
Please sign up.
No, I've already given it to him.